we had about 39 other stakeholders ranging from CAN, GNI, the youth organizations, ASU, NMA, MBA. And the whole idea was to reach out to as many stakeholders as possible. Market men and market women were also present. And the first thing I tried to do was to actually contextualize the entire EndSARS protest. Started with what exactly were the demands of the EndSARS and what was the response of government. I reminded them that the EndSARS made 5 demands. They asked for the immediate release of all EndSARS protesters. They asked for the setting up of a panel to investigate police brutality. They asked for compensation for victims of brutality. They also asked that, in line with the Police Act, that the SARS operatives be made to undergo psychological evaluation and retraining before they are redeployed into the mainstream policing. They also asked very generously too for the government to look into the welfare of police so that they can discharge their duties much more efficiently. Also then, of course, what did the government do? By the 11th of October, the IGP announced the immediate dissolution of all SARS formations in 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. The very next day, the president himself addressed Nigerians and said, look, the disbanding of SARS is only the beginning of the comprehensive reform that the government is undergoing and is going to undertake to ensure that police and other security agencies will have only one mandate, which is to protect lives and livelihood. And he assured Nigerians that any policeman that is found guilty of abuse of office will be brought to book. That was on the 12th of October. On the 13th of October, the IGP summoned all the disbanded SARS personnel for medical evaluation and counseling and debriefing. The same day, the Presidential Committee on the reform of SARS accepted all the 5 demands of the EndSARS protesters. And by the 15th of October, the National Economic Council had already given directives to all governors to set up panels of inquiry. It has asked, all governors and the FCT minister to take charge and initiate contact with the EndSARS protesters. He further directed that all governors should set up victim support funds and that membership of the panels should include students, youth, society organizations. So from what you can see, by 15th of November, federal government had met all the requirements of the EndSARS protesters. Unfortunately, by that time, some other people with other motives had hijacked the protest, and this is what led, of course, to wanton violence and killings. And I want to further to also inform the stakeholders that even before the EndSARS protest, this administration in particular had put in motion machinery to address unemployment, especially of youth, women, and the vulnerable people. And I cite the example of the 75 billion youth fund. Cite the example of the 75 billion survivor fund, which is part of the economic sustainability plan. and in particular the Survivor Fund, which is actually aimed at giving a cushion to small and medium enterprises that have been affected by the COVID-19. And three particular aspects of this Survivor Fund is very germane. The first is the payroll support. The payroll support is a scheme whereby the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, gave about 500,000 MSMEs a payroll support, which means that if you are employing between 5 and 50 people and you apply on the portal, then the ministry, the federal government, would pay 3 months' salaries for between 5 and 10 of your employees. And this has been going on very well, and about 500,000 MSMEs are benefiting from this support fund. The other is what you call the one-off grants, which is aimed at helping hairdressers, mechanics, vulcanizers, riders, giving them a one-off 30,000 grant to help them cushion the effect of the pandemic. And 333,000 beneficiaries are expected, MSME individuals are expected to benefit from this. And of course, the federal government under the same Survivor Fund also made available, directed the Corporate Affairs Commission to register free of charge 250,000 small and medium-scale enterprises, and all these have been advertised on the portal. This is without prejudice to what the federal government had been doing all along in the area of empower, in the area of agro and tech. As of today, over 500,000 people have been employed through unemployed graduates have benefited from the Empower project. And then between the market money, trader money and farmer money, about 2 million Nigerians have benefited from the grant. With that, even long before the EndSARS protest, federal government in its own wisdom had increased the youth corpers salaries from 18,000, I think, to about 33,000. So these are kind of things that we went home to tell our people, and it quite resonated very well with them. And my colleague, the Minister of State for Works and Housing, who is from Yobe State, also gave his report, which is similar to what many of us did. But the unique thing is that, just like I think in Zamfara State, his state never witnessed any violence at all. But he was there with his governor, and it provided a platform to actually appreciate what the government has been doing, especially in the northeastern part of the country, to combat insurgency. And most of their interaction actually dwelled on the need for better synergy between states and federal government, the need to appreciate what the president is doing. Of course, every polity is local. They discuss their own local issues. The roads. I think that there's some uncompleted roads which they appeal to the federal government to complete. So overall, it's been a very good platform for exchange of views between the government and the government. Thank you very much. Of aviation, who presented